the intent for 3DFX was to put out the best price, performance, and features available in the market, and that's exactly what they've done. They've been about 6 to 9 months ahead of anybody technologically.
Just now, our competitors are catching up with the level of performance of our first chipset, and now we're about to release this new chipset, the Voodoo 2 chipset, and it's about 3 times as fast as the original Voodoo chipset, which puts it miles and miles ahead of anything else that's going to be on the market.
We were doing tests with a very popular game called GL Quake, and it was running at 120 frames per second, which is just silly. I mean, nobody's going to run a game at that kind of frame rate or want to, but what it illustrates is the headroom that's available for developers.
And one of the things that we're trying to do is now start working with the game developers and publishers further in advance than we've done in the past to start emulating to some extent what Sony, Nintendo, and Sega have done, to be able to tell them what our roadmap is far enough out so that they can start creating content that's original and directed towards our technology from the very beginning.
So instead of just being a technology leader or a hardware leader, we want to be a development leader and really advance the whole field of 3D graphics, especially in gaming.
We get a lot of feedback from the developers, so we're always pushing the envelope in terms of what they want.
That's a big task for somebody in our business, because in the past, literally, the first time somebody would find out about a new technology in the acceleration business was the day it was launched into the retail market or into the OEM market.
We've really seen ourselves as a consumer electronics company from day one. So we spent a lot of money and a lot of effort on branding and getting the 3DFX name out there.
If you can run a lot of different games better, noticeably better, games that don't run on anyone else's hardware, you've got a distinct value add, and because of that, the consumer can know that. And so that's what you try to build your brand on.
A good example is Intel Inside. Now that's an ambitious example, because what Intel used to accomplish that was $300 million, and we're just doing it with hardworking people and very, very good technology.
The most important thing is that Voodoo Graphics is now considered the baseline in the development community. So we're no longer looking at low-performance 3D cards as being the lowest common denominator. You're looking at Voodoo Graphics being the lowest common denominator. And so game developers are able to bring their content and their artwork and everything else up to a very high standard, and then they can enhance on top of that for Voodoo 2.
Everyone here is really a perfectionist and a striver for generating products that the end consumers absolutely fall in love with.
They love 3DFX. How do I get a 3DFX board? How do I get a Voodoo Graphics card? And you read this stuff sometimes and you wonder, God, do these people have lives? I mean, this must be all they do. But then you start looking at where these emails are coming from, like Slovenia, Turkey, deep in the heart of Africa. And some of these people don't have lives. We are their lives.
We're in a way really competing against Hollywood, which we're doing it in real time, and a few short years ago, that was absolutely impossible even to think about.
To my mom's eye, anything that makes it look more like TV, that's what she's impressed with.
We know that we're nowhere near how far we can go.
Right now we're dealing with low polygon models, right? The monsters in Quake are still 1,000 polygons. What happens when all of a sudden you get real-life characters that are running around these games?
We reached really far out and happened to deliver it in a cost-effective manner, and that's been allowed us to sustain ourselves over time.
The coolest thing was actually being able to deliver and kind of tell everyone who poo-pooed us in the beginning, say, here it is, I told you so. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
I'm personally kind of relieved at the growth, just simply because I get to sleep at night, see my kids.
We've been to weddings, and we've been to funerals, and we've been to of all the people. So it's kind of been a real experience. And not only did our product grow and the technology, but also just the people who first started the company.
I want to see this happen. It's almost like reading a thriller novel or something like that, where you want to see how this all ends up.
Gordy thought it would be, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars, because he had found a chip in technology and knew what a rocket things could be. And I would have settled for much, much less. I would be happy like $10 or $20 million after like 5 years, and still can't believe we sell as much as we do. And I'm glad we had someone like Gordy who really knew it could be big.
when Voodoo 2 hits the streets, it's gonna, I mean, it's not even funny. It's gonna ruin a lot of people. You know, it's basically, you know, everyone here is still kicking ass and taking names, and I don't see that changing for a long time.
People said, no one will ever buy a 3D-only graphics board. Well, 1 million people have bought that. You can't create this level of realism for $49. Well, we've done it. I love doing things that people say can't be done.
What do you want to be when you grow up is like the founder of a company that's successful. So this is it, sort of, we're grown up now.
I don't feel I'm grown up. I get paid to wear shorts and play games and invent technology. I think that's the greatest job in the world.